Hello, dear students. Today, I want to talk about something that weighs heavy on so many of you, the pressure to achieve academic excellence.
Oh, that's such a big one. I mean, isn't it kind of wild that over 60% of students in Malaysia, 60% say they're experiencing depressive symptoms because of academic expectations?
Yes, Ruby, it is. And it's heartbreaking when you think about how deeply these pressures go unnoticed. I once worked with a student, Mira, brilliant, hardworking, one of those kids everyone assumes has it all together. But just before her exams, she had an emotional breakdown.
Well, wait, Mira, what happened there?
Well, she was juggling everything. Straight A's, extracurriculars, but deep down, the weight of those expectations crushed her. She couldn't see a way forward. She was paralyzed by fear of failure.
And it's not like Mira's story is rare, right? It feels like anyone who's, aiming high is walking that tightrope.
Exactly, Ruby. And let's not forget, this isn't just about isolated cases. The pandemic added another layer. Research has shown that 1 in 4 students exhibited signs of depression during that period. 1 in 4.
Sheesh. I mean, that's like a classroom where 6 or 7 kids could be sitting there struggling in silence. It's awful that so many schools weren't even equipped to handle it.
Yes, some schools made efforts like integrating emotional learning programs, but others unfortunately fell behind. The inconsistency left students feeling unsupported at a time when they really, really needed that safety net.
And it's not just about the programs. You kind of look back at the way tech came into play, like sure, online learning, but what about emotional support? Digital tools could have filled some of those gaps, don't you think?
Absolutely, Ruby. While technology isn't a substitute for human connection, it's a valuable bridge. We'll dive more into that later, but for now, let's take a moment to think about what students like Mira are silently facing every day.
Thinking about what Mira and so many others are facing, it really makes me wonder, why don't more students ask for help when they're obviously struggling?
Ruby, that's a huge question. And the simple but painful truth is this: stigma, fear of being judged, of being seen as weak. For so many students, it's easier to suffer in silence than to risk that judgment. Did you know that 43% of students hold back from seeking any help because of this very fear?
43%, that's almost half.
Yes, Ruby. And because of that stigma, so many students feel their emotions aren't valid. But the good news is that there's been progress. Take, for example, schools setting up anonymous drop boxes. It's such a small idea, but it makes a huge difference. Students can share how they're feeling without the fear of exposing themselves.
Oh, wow. That's kind of genius. Like, you don't have to raise your hand and announce to the world, hey, I need help. It's subtle, but so powerful.
Exactly. And it's about creating those safe spaces, both physical and emotional, where students feel seen without the pressure to conform or pretend.
And that brings us to your project, doesn't it? The UV app. I mean, who's better at using tech to bridge the gap than you?
The Tell UV app is something I'm truly proud of. It's a digital space for students to access resources, things like mental health check-ins, or just a comforting Surat Cinta, love letters we've designed to ease their minds. It's not meant to replace therapy, but to provide that little nudge of encouragement, a reminder that they're not alone.
Hold on, love letters? That's adorable.
It is, isn't it? And incredibly effective. It's amazing how something as simple as words of comfort can make such a massive difference.
Honestly, I think that's what we need more of, like combining tools and empathy to show these students that, hey, it's okay to ask for help.
Absolutely, Ruby. Bridging this gap isn't just about addressing the stigma. It's about creating paths for students to feel confident and supported in seeking help.
Talking about tools like the EdLUV app really got me thinking. Even with amazing ideas like that, if we don't create real tangible spaces to support students, we're still falling short, aren't we?
Yes, Ruby, absolutely. Safe spaces are at the heart of mental well-being, and I'm not just talking about physical spaces like counseling rooms. Emotional and cultural safety matters just as much, especially in a diverse country like Malaysia.
Right? Like if support isn't accessible in all the languages and cultural contexts that students actually live in, then who is it even for?
Exactly, Ruby. That's why multilingual mental health literacy is so critical. Students need to feel that their struggles can be expressed and understood, whether they speak Malay, Mandarin, Tamil, or any other language. It's about meeting them where they are on their terms.
And not just meeting them, but like really listening. You've mentioned before how families and educators play such a big role here. What needs to change on those fronts, you think?
First and foremost, Ruby, it's about awareness. Many families and educators simply don't recognize the signs of mental health struggles, or they minimize them, saying things like "jangan fikir bukan-bukan," which, as you can imagine, doesn't help at all.
Yeah, telling someone not to overthink when they're spiraling is like saying, oh, just stop being anxious. It's not that simple.
Not at all, but there's so much potential for change when families and teachers develop the skills to respond empathetically. I've seen lives transform just because one teacher paused and really listened without judgment. Imagine if more students had that.
That's it, isn't it? Sometimes it's not about having all the answers. It's about being present, creating that trust.
Exactly, Ruby. And technology can help here too. Platforms like the LUV app can act as a bridge, especially for students who might not feel ready to open up face to face. But in the end, digital tools are just one piece of the puzzle. They complement human connection, not replace it.
Yeah, and it's got to be all hands on deck, right? Digital tools, compassionate teachers, understanding parents, it all works together.
Yes, and we must build spaces, physical, emotional, and digital, where every student feels valued and supported. Spaces where asking for help isn't seen as weakness, but courage.
Courage. I love that. If that's the takeaway, I think we're on the right track.
We are Ruby. To all our listeners, students, parents, educators, remember this. Creating a compassionate, inclusive environment isn't just about checking boxes. It's about showing up, being present, and making sure every student feels seen and heard. Together, we can make a difference.
And on that note, we'll wrap it up here. Thanks for listening, everyone. Be kind to yourselves and each other.
Take care, dear students. You are enough just as you are. Until next time.